TMS, we pride ourselves on customer service. It's priority one. In the fall of October, we hired Stephen Kovach, inventory specialist extraordinaire. He's really helped with the workflow in the shop, with tracking processes, inventory control, tracking, and here's Steve now to go over those processes with you.
Well, what we've done is we've implemented a new check-in process. Every pump that comes in, every piece of equipment that comes in gets tagged with a unique barcode number. That barcode and tag number is inserted in every process through the accounting system, and every time that pump moves or that piece of equipment moves through the shop, it's tracked from the teardown to the sandblasting to the paint booth. Wherever that pump moves, even to the repair benches, we know where that pump's at all times. The way the new process helps the customer, we can tell them at any point in time where their repair is at, what state it's in. Is it in teardown? Is it in the wash tank? Do we have parts on order for it? The salesman can even use it to keep track of when their customers' jobs get finished. What we do now is just very efficient. We have spreadsheets, we have reports that we can use internally. It helps communication across the board. So if we have a pump on the bench and it needs a part, we can get that part on order. And when we go to order that part, if we know it's going to be in the next day, we can leave the pump on the bench and continue to get the repair done. If the part's not going to be in for 2 or 3 weeks, we can locate that pump, that repair back in the rack, and know that when that part comes in, we can literally walk up to that pump, pull it down, get it back together, and get it out the door. One of the new services that we provide is we actually photograph their repair. When their equipment hits our door, we photograph it instantly so we know what the pump looked like when it came in, if it has special fittings on it. As we photograph the teardown, we place the photos in a secure web gallery so that not only can our technicians go back and review it, but we can actually share those photos real time with the customer using a light link versus trying to email megs of photographs, which some emails won't even let you do. So it helps us allow the customer, they can actually go in and keep an eye on their repair as it moves through the shop. That's an overview of how we've improved the workflow process here at TMS in an effort to give the customer better value for their money and a better repair. So now I'm going to turn it over to Mark Gilmore, one of the owners, and he'll explain to you what happens on the shop floor.
Typically, if somebody sends in a pump, we receive it here, it's logged into the system. The next step for that pump is to go to the teardown bench where it's completely disassembled. All components are evaluated, measured, and logged onto a worksheet. From there, it goes to the estimating department where they'll estimate the repair, send it to the customer, and wait for approval on the pump. From there, in order to expedite things, we go straight to the dip tanks with it. Pump's thoroughly cleaned and the dip tanks pulled out, pressure washed. From there it goes to the sandblaster and it's taken down to bare metal from there, put on the rack, and once the PO is issued, the pump will come down to the technician's bench. If it needs any machine work, those parts will be taken off that pallet and sent to the machine shop to have whatever necessary repairs are done, whether it's bore the cylinders, repair a bearing journal on the rotor, or whatever it may need. Once that work is done, the technician brings it back, starts the assembly process with replacing all the consumables, bearings, seals, O-rings, and everything that's consumed on the pump in a normal repair. After the pump is completely assembled, it goes through testing. There's a separate bench where we test run the pumps, bring them up to operating temperature, and do blank off testing on them. Once the pump passes test, then it goes back to our paint booth and gets the famous Bush hammer silver paint job.